What's going on, guys? So, as promised, doing a little wrist wrap, how-to. There's no exact way to do it. This is personally how I prefer to do it, and I would just recommend that you at the very least, that you're covering the wrist joint. I mean, that's what they're supposed to be doing. They're supporting your wrist. So if you're not covering the wrist joint, which is mainly why I made the video, what I was seeing is like people were wrapping their wrists like this. This is just a quick example. So they're wrapping their wrists like this. So as you can see, it's not really even on the wrist joint. I mean, they're honestly on here for looks because the wrist is just flopping around. There's nothing actually supporting it. The wrist wrap is literally just like a cool little bracelet you're wearing. And I see this, I see people wrap their wrist more like what I just had than the proper way, which I guess if you don't know any better and you just kind of throw it on, it's just a common mistake. So that's why we're gonna kind of go over it today to make sure you're doing it properly. So just so you can see, starting with, like, these are the Gangster Wraps. Mark Bell makes them. Solid wrap. Nothing but good things to say. They actually sent them to me, so thank you to them. But as soon as I got them, I started using these right away, and I've used a lot of different wraps, and these are my favorite. So if you guys don't have wrist wraps, or maybe you're just using something like a Dick's Sporting Goods wrist wrap, something like cheap you just wanted to grab, if you're looking for like a step up, something like you can use in a competition, Gangster Wraps would be it. I would recommend them not only because of their quality, price points, competitive, like they're right there with any of the other brands, so price isn't an issue really, because for any high quality wrist wrap you're going to be paying that same price. And a big thing is they're approved in every federation. You can actually even use the Gangster Wraps in IPF sanctioned meets. So the IPF is like the International Powerlifting Federation. They're known very strict. You have to have certain brands. Only like certain brands are approved, and luckily the Gangster Wraps are one of those approved brands. So that's another reason I really like them, because I know I can wear them in any meet, whether it's local or national or even international. So got a little sidetrack there, but just to show you how I wrap. All wrist wraps are gonna have a thumb loop. Make sure we're in focus here. So every wrist wrap has a thumb loop. So you're gonna wanna put that around your thumb. What I do, so it's easier to get off, is I'll actually only put it like on my thumb, on my knuckle. That way, because if you put it all the way down, it's gonna actually be a little bit harder to get off depending on how tight you wrap. So I'll put it like right around my knuckle. Makes it real easy to just slide off once they're tight. And I'm gonna come across my hand like this. I'm actually gonna go on a slight downward angle, or towards kind of towards your body in a way. You see how that angle is? And then I'm gonna wrap kind of far down, as you see, like I'm pretty far down, and then I'm actually gonna come back up. So then it's gonna be on a distal angle, I guess you can say. So it's away from the body, or away from the limb. And then on this like second wrap, this one's gonna go completely over the wrist joint. So that one's completely over the wrist joint. The wrist joint's almost in the middle of that. And then again, so tightening it. Then I'm gonna come back over the other side, so the wrap is right in the middle of the wrist joint. So again, I mean, if you see, the wrap is actually like coming up into my hand. Same thing over here, like the wrap is actually coming up into the palm because you want your wrist joint kind of in the middle of this wrap. So then you're gonna come back, and this is just kind of like the final wraparound's gonna be very similar to the one before it, completely over the wrist joint, and then lock her in. So you can see what it looks like here. You know, down, you know, starting here, going all the way up. It's like, you know, damn near the middle, you know, getting to the middle of my hand. On this side, see how high it is up here? Coming up to here. Now in like in a meet, or like even in training, I would definitely recommend just removing your thumb loop. In training, it's obviously not necessary, but if you're gonna compete in a meet, you're gonna have to do it. So remove that thumb loop. I'll actually just kind of leave mine like this. It's hanging a little. In a meet, they might tell you to tuck it, which is, you know, pretty easy to do. They just want it all out of the way, so you just tuck it in like that. And then you're good to go. I mean, the wrist is completely supported. Little bit of movement. I didn't even put these on that tight. I mean, if I'm going for a big lift, they're going on even tighter. So you can see how much it's covering. All right, guys, hopefully that helps. Let me know if you have any more questions. I think I'm gonna also do a video on how to put on knee sleeves, because yeah, everyone can put them on, but I'm gonna show you kind of how to put them on efficiently. Makes it very easy. Even if they're tighter on you, it'll make it pretty easy. Again, coming back to like a meet, it can pay off. I've had some lifters before who are like warming up for their squats, and they really struggle with getting their knee sleeves on. You know, it kind of gets them a little panicky. So, you know, having that efficient way to get your equipment on, it all helps. So hopefully this guys helped you, or hopefully this helped you guys, and I'll talk to you next time.